Hello and welcome, Dimitri, to this edition of Aeroreels. It's great to have you here. Can you just tell me a little bit about what ACI's customer experience sort of sector is about?
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for having me. ACI role is the voice of airport. Basically we do some advocacy lobbying on part of this really important role. We have in branch overseeing airport customer experience. That means that we are helping airport to enhance, improve the customer experience delivered to airport. So customer experience is what? It's way more than just customer service. It's really the ambience at the airport. It's really the facilities within the airport. It's really the way that the passenger get through everything in a timely manner, with positive emotion, in order to have more time at the end to enjoy the airport. So at high level, it's really how a passenger is feeling about an airport.
Okay, great. And although we're by no means out of the pandemic now, we're definitely in a confirmed recovery period. So what have been the lessons learned in airport operations, as a result of COVID in terms of the customer experience?
I think the most important thing that we learn is the importance of listening our customer. And this is the main purpose of the ASQ program. ASQ stands for Airport Service Quality. It's a global benchmark. And even during the peak of the COVID, we had more than 200 airports collecting data. So we have almost 400 customers. And the idea was really to listen to the customer in order to adapt the experience. So that was the first lesson, is really to continue to listen to the customer in order to adapt. Because what we saw that of course, there is always the same kind of basic expectation, but we had a lot of new one adding, or sometimes like the cleanliness that was always something important, but during the COVID, that was something crucial for the customer. Also, we discovered that there is activities that we used to do behind the scene, like the cleaning. Now, this is the kind of thing that we have to do in front of the customer in order to show them that we are cleaning, that we are doing stuff like that. So basically, that changed a bit the mindset of just showing the nice thing to the customer, to show them all what we do. Also, the communication. Because communication is always an issue, but sometimes we are taking for granted that we communicate enough. What we saw during the COVID, you don't communicate enough. We don't communicate enough. That was really important to tell to our customer all what we do. Also to help them to prepare the trip. So the trip for a customer is not starting within the airport, it's starting way before, because it goes on the website, it checks all the requirements, the vaccine, all the new things that you have to do. He has also to understand the way that he's going to navigate through the airport with all the new thing that he has to do within the airport. Also the role of the employee, because usually we focus a lot of customer, not enough on employee, but during the COVID, it's even more important than ever to work with the employee, to work with the staff, because if they are stressed, they cannot reassure the passenger. They cannot deliver good experience if they don't know what they have to do, if they are stressed, okay, am I going to catch something, the COVID and something else? No, we have to make sure that they are comfortable in order to deliver good experience.
So it's as much about the sort of shift in customer expectations as it is about the health measures and the different measures you've had to introduce in the airports. And non-aeronautical revenues are now more important than ever for airports. So what sort of opportunities can airports be exploring now as they adapt their revenue streams to reflect the evolving passenger requirements?
So that's a good question, because as you know, maybe 46% of all the revenues are coming from the non-aeronautical revenues and coming from the passenger. And usually there is and this is something that we found through the ASQ survey. So first thing, there is a correlation, a relationship between customer satisfaction and non-aeronautical revenues. Also, there is a link between time spent within the airport and revenue spent at the airport. And also the level of stress. If you are really comfortable in good state of mind, you're going to spend more than you are really stressed. And then what we are saying is the COVID changed that, because basically people, it's a little bit better now, but usually during the COVID, they didn't want to mingle too much and to go to the airport. They wanted to go straight to the gate. Also, they are stressed because it's new. There is a lot of new thing. So on the time spent at the airport was maybe sometimes longer, but not quality time. So that has an impact. And basically, the idea, knowing that for the airport industry, was to find new ways of doing things. For instance, to be able to order food and to order duty-free and so on in advance. So basically, you don't have to go there and to browse and to look for things. Everything is going to be delivered. To be able to order food and to have food delivered at the gate as well. More and more airports are thinking currently of the e-commerce. So basically, how we could integrate more e-commerce within the airport. Some airports are doing that already, but some airports are going to speed up the implementation as well, because now what we're seeing through that, it's now a lot of people prefer to check before on internet, before buying on site. Also, now there is new revenue stream coming, such as, and this is especially in Asia, but duty-free at Aeroreels. So usually it's only on departures. Some countries are allowed to do that as well. And some airports are trying to push that because they're increasing the opportunities and revenues as well. Sometime also in Asia, mainly duty-free downtown. That may be also an option for not only for airport, basically for airport, but retailers as well. So the idea, and of course, there is all this vending machine that we see in airport when you can buy something, you don't need to speak to someone, and it's really accessible and so on. So the idea was really to find other ways, but what we are seeing on, I guess, because now people are traveling again, depending to the region, of course, but people still like to go within the airport in person buying stuff. And the idea is really just to provide a safe environment to do so. So this is why ACI launched last year the health accreditation. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's an accreditation checking all the protocol that an airport has to follow in order to make sure that it's a safe airport. And this is something also that a lot of airports, more than 400 airports, basically, have been doing that since the beginning of the COVID-19, because it's a good way to show to the passenger that it's safe to travel there, it's safe to go there to buy and to shop.
Good. I mean, I'm definitely a shopper. When I go to the airport, I'm a sort of an airport concessionaire's dream. I'll definitely be shopping still. And is there a worry that with this sort of these innovations, the digitalization of the airport sector and the automation and increase of contactless services, is there a worry that some of the smaller regional cash-strapped airports will be left behind or will struggle to keep up with these new technologies?
This is, for ACI, it's a concern, of course, but what we are seeing, honestly, there is a lot of, because technology, we're always thinking about something, huge advancement. But what we are seeing, we've been speaking about touchless, but what I like is seamless or frictionless or effortless. And the idea is really, there is the technology and the usage of the technology, and to think about not only about the process, but about a customer journey, and to find ways on simplifying the process, the journey for the passenger. And sometimes it's to add some technology, sometimes to remove things non-essential in the process, in the journey. And you're right that sometimes it's costly, but what we are seeing, there is a lot of new technology, not that expensive, with some gain of efficiency. So basically, if you're seeing that as a spend, that's true. If you're seeing that as an investment, bringing some efficiency in the process, then somewhere you're going to save some money. I think it's easy to do the business case.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Dimitri. It's been really interesting talking to you, and thank you for joining us on Aeroreels.
Thank you for having me.